So here's the brief. News from the world over this week. Pope Francis marked the beginning of Lent with Ash Wednesday services in Rome. The Holy Father led the traditional penitential procession to the Basilica of St. Sabina, where ashes were then distributed. During his homily, the Pope warned the faithful of today's increasingly artificial world, obsessed with possessions, a place where God is excluded. Extemporizing and leaving the text, the Pope seemed to call out fellow prelates in the Roman Curia. He noted the power struggles he witnesses on a daily basis. These people play at being God the Creator, the Pope said. They still haven't understood that they aren't God. Lent, he urged, calls us to remember that we are creatures, not God. Next week, the Pope and top curial officials begin a 6-day Lenten retreat nearby Rome. It's the first time the retreat has been held outside the Vatican. The Pope has decided it will be a full, silent retreat, and all church business will be put on hold for the participants. And another papal interview is stirring controversy. I've gotten lots of emails about this one, and my Facebook page exploded over it. Media outlets around the world are reporting that Pope Francis suggested that the Church could be open to gay civil unions. In a wide-ranging interview with the Italian daily Corriere della Sera, the Pope was asked about civil unions and whether it was, quote, a path that the Church can understand. But up to what point? Here is Pope Francis's actual response in full. The translation was provided by Zenit News. Marriage, the Pope said, is between one man and one woman. The secular states want to justify civil unions to regulate different situations of coexistence, spurred by the need to regulate economic aspects between persons, as, for instance, to ensure health care. Each case must be looked at and evaluated in its diversity, end quote. Banner headlines reported that statement to mean that the Pope would consider at some level same-sex unions. That is not really what he said. Vatican press office consultant Father Thomas Rosica later attempted to clarify the remarks. He insisted that the Pope spoke about the obligation of the state to fulfill its responsibilities towards citizens and, quote, did not choose to enter into debates about the delicate matter of gay civil unions. As the first anniversary of Pope Francis's pontificate approaches next week, a new poll suggests that his popularity and the widely perceived Francis effect is having little effect, if any, among the American faithful. According to the latest Pew Research Center survey, there has been virtually no change in the percentage of Americans who identify as Catholic, no change in Mass attendance, confession, or charity work. Perhaps more concerning, compared to a year ago, the survey shows that more Catholics expect the Church will one day allow priests to marry, permit women's ordination, and embrace birth control. 36% of those surveys said they believe same-sex marriage will also be recognized. As for a silver lining in the survey, Catholics, both church-going and non-observant, said they were more excited about the Catholic faith, pray more, and read the Bible or other religious texts more frequently. Meanwhile, the breakup of Ukraine could soon be on the horizon. On Thursday, lawmakers in the Russian-occupied Crimea unanimously voted to put forth a ballot initiative to join Russia. In what amounted to a declaration of independence from Ukraine, the Crimea Parliament will let its citizens decide on March 16th whether they want to join their neighbor to the east. 60% of Crimea's citizens are ethnic Russian. Speaking from the White House hours later, President Barack Obama rejected the referendum as a violation of Ukraine's constitution and international law. The U.S. and European Union have implemented minor economic and diplomatic sanctions against Moscow. Lawmakers in Russia have already pushed a bill to facilitate a handover. More on this in our next segment. Here in Washington on Tuesday, President Obama sent lawmakers a new $3.9 trillion budget for 2015. The proposal includes $1 trillion in new taxes, mostly on the rich and corporations, plus a slew of new spending to include climate change research and improved technology in schools. When announcing his budget proposal, the president said it reflects a choice for Americans, whether to protect tax breaks for wealthy Americans or grow the economy. Despite the tax increase, the budget does little to reduce the federal government's perennial deficit of more than $500 billion annually. House Budget Chairman Paul Ryan called the proposal disappointing, claiming it will do nothing to preserve or strengthen unsustainable entitlement programs. And America's first televangelist is a step closer to sainthood. Medical experts for the Congregation for the Causes of the Saints unanimously recognized a miracle attributed to the intercession of Venerable Fulton J. Sheen. In a statement, the Diocese of Peoria said the purported miracle involved an Illinois stillborn in 2010. For over an hour, the child showed no signs of life as doctors attempted to revive him. The child's parents and loved ones began immediately to seek the intercession of Fulton Sheen. Today, the toddler, named James Fulton, is healthy and developing normally. Archbishop Sheen, best known for his Emmy-winning program Life is Worth Living, can still be seen on EWTN. The congregation's theologians will review the case next. And finally, in the spirit of Lenten repentance, Pope Francis offered a confession of his own on Thursday, a surprising one. During an informal chat with Roman priests about the need to be merciful, he revealed that he had once stolen from another priest. The Pope spoke of a great confessor in Buenos Aires who had heard his confessions and those of many others, including Pope John Paul II. When the priest died, Francis went to pray by his open casket. He was stunned that no one had brought the priest any flowers, so he came back with a bouquet. And as he arranged them, he noticed the rosary still held in the dead priest's hand. Immediately there came to mind the thief we all have inside ourselves, the Pope said. So, with just a bit of force, I pulled the cross off the rosary. In that moment, he said he looked down at his beloved confessor and said, "Give me half your mercy." To this day, Pope Francis wears the cross in a pouch over his heart under his casket.